Alex here. So today I'm going to talk about the patch that's coming. It's not out yet. I just checked my PlayStation. I went out, did the old who's a daisy, went check for update. Nothing's quite there. They also haven't posted the notes on their website, so that's not up. But they did go over it today on Madden Daily. And so I want to go through, or Good Morning Madden, what they branded it to. Well, I'm using boomer names. You'll hear me saying Oakland Raiders here soon enough, I'm sure, and San Diego Chargers. But let's go through and talk about, key highlights, SpongeBob, talk about our opinions on it, because this has, a lot of potential. This has me potentially moving back to next-gen Madden with what I'm seeing in these notes, and I'm frankly excited because, next-gen Madden was what we were looking forward to so long, then we played it, and it almost killed my entire love of, my entire love of gameplay. It's nowhere near what it was prior to it coming out, but, it's kind of built back a little bit. My love, everybody's got certain enthusiasms for things, and my enthusiasm for Madden 21 up to, next-gen release, I was Madden 21, I was like, wow, this might be the best Madden online gameplay that I've ever played. Obviously, franchise, that stuff, not even close, but online gameplay with balance and, some of the lack of nanos. Everybody's complaining about the meta right now, but we've had way, significant, Nickel Blitz 2, PA Ender, meta's been awful in the past. And 21 has been great, right? You see people running a lot of zones, drop everybody. See people running man. Some people blitz man. Some people run a stock 4-man rush on your zone. So the meta is very varied. You see a lot of different formations that are usable on current gen, but next gen was just awful. And when I played next gen, I was like, oh, I can't take it, right? The movement of the players, the zones, but they kind of touched on that. So we'll, of course, see it when we play it, but I kind of want to go through some of the changes, what's happening in the game. Obviously, current gen, with all that said, there's still a lot of faults, right? There's still a lot of, shitty things, unbalanced mechanics. So don't get me wrong, Madden's still not perfect in any way, not even close to it, but they are getting better. So with that said, let's keep moving on to the update, and SpongeBob Yard location. Kind of, they teased it a few days ago. We figured it was going to be for the yard. I mean, they don't need to, add so much of this, right? My biggest frustration with the yard, which I'll go over, let me go back to this. My biggest frustration with the yard is not, the styles or anything. I think they're doing a good job bringing in different, they've had uniforms, designers for uniforms, that kind of stuff. It's the depth of the mode, right? The RPG aspects of the character creator, the character leveling is just not there. 2K, the only reason I played that stuff, and I played 2K this year quite a bit, and I realized after a while that I hated the gameplay of it. I didn't enjoy my time actually on the court playing 2K, but I really enjoyed their character creator for their park system, for their city, and basically hey, if I go like this, if I can max this guy, then I can play really cool here, and then trying out the badges, using that stuff effectively, min-maxing, that kind of stuff. That's amazing. So the yard just needs to add the ability to really go in depth into the RPG elements of the game. Throw animations, assign animations to your character, do better with your statistics and updating them and grinding and getting, they got badges, but we got abilities. Same thing, have more badges, less powerful badges / abilities, you know what I mean? Specific to yard abilities would be a very nice thing. So the yard's got a lot of potential. It hasn't reached it this year, and it's fine. It's marketing, SpongeBob Yard location for people that want to play a casual thing and something that they enjoy. I'd wear SpongeBob uniforms in mod. I don't give a fuck because it's a fantasy thing. Anyways, all right. Gameplay updates. Tuning to deep zone defender logic to focus more on deep threats in the zone and less on shorter routes approaching the zone. Now I want to show this right here. This is Madden NFL Series X and PS5. So this is next-gen updates, okay? Next-gen under this section. And then below, Carlos said there'll be other ones, and we'll look at those. All right, so anyways, tuning to deep zone defense. One of the biggest things and one of the biggest problems we all had was guys just running streaks and running right past all your deep defenders and them not really doing anything, them not being aware of what's around them, them letting guys just run past them not transitioning back, turning and running quick enough. Because on current gen, guys can basically be there and then turn and run in an instant. Next gen, they had to accelerate and get back. So on current gen, the logic is because defenders just seem to magically not have physics reaction. That's not the same thing on next gen, right? Where physics play more into a factor of it, or at least it's more realistic with guys like, you know, accelerating up a little bit instead of going from 0 to 60 at the drop of a hat. So it is different, and I think their logic just didn't keep up with the fact that their momentum system, their speed changed from next gen, from current gen to next gen. Okay, so they needed to do this, and I'm glad they did it at least finally. So now it's becoming a little bit more playable. It's less of a, you know, just run right past my deep zone and score every drive, and whoever gets like one user pick wins the game because it's so offensive focused. So hopefully that works. Tuning to deep zone logic cover 1 to react quicker to deep post, deep over post, and any crossing routes. Now they say deep over routes, which are, you know, like, you know, obviously over. But like, how's a deep zone logic cover 1 going to react to a crossing route when it's supposed to play middle center and something cuts in front of their face? Will it like keep up with it to a certain extent, or what about other threats that maybe are going down the seam at itself? Obviously, logic means like, you know, seam shot, you got to run with that deep, and then the crosser. So like, that's just like, you know, football concepts that you want to be as deep as the deepest man there, and that deep zone logic. But I'm excited to see what it is. It can't be any worse. Updated the facing direction of deep zone players so they'll face the ball rather than just line of scrimmage, which will help deep zone defenders turn in the appropriate direction when covering deep routes. Now, there's a lot of things we can think about this. They're going to be facing the ball on the deep zone, so it's easier for them to turn and run versus, you know, facing straight up, which means it's 180 degrees. We'll see, I guess. It's nothing that I'm going to like speculate on how they're going to cover differently wildly. It's kind of going with the logic and above it, so I'm just going to kind of pass on that. Turn into fake out logic on an inside release post, S post. There's significant separation resulting in this releasing cut when close to the line of scrimmage. The change prevents defenders getting faked out during this early segment of the route. So I'm guessing this is for man coverage. Like, we need to have man coverage beaters in this game, right? We need to be able to call a play and saying, all right, I know my opponent's in man coverage. I got to run this route, and if he doesn't have help over the top, then he's screwed, right? We need something to one-play man coverage so cover 0 isn't the meta, right? How often do you see cover 0 in the NFL? Rarely, if ever, because it's so bad. You can't really, like in Madden right now, you see a lot of cover 0 because defenders can react to so many cuts on the route, especially with one step, acrobat on to catch up with one step too. Bench press people are running a little bit too. But, you know, I just hate the fact that, you know, players can play cover 0 on a consistent basis and not really lose. They need to have losing routes. Double moves need to be more effective against man coverage, so that way you can't call cover 0 and be satisfied with your life. You need to like mix it in. So you need to have like a cover 1, at least somebody over the top to help stop you. So that needs to change. Like, so if they're gonna say S posts are now, you know, covered by man coverage, I actually don't like that, right? I actually don't like that one bit. Now, I think this is, you know, man coverage based, not zone coverage based. Zone coverage changes. Again, S post shouldn't really work very well against zone coverage unless it's, oh god dang it, he moved down. All right. Yeah, zone coverage S post should just be like bleh against him. But I know S posts were also beating deep thirds, but this doesn't really look like it. So S posts, you gotta give us something. We gotta beat man coverage. We gotta beat it. All right. Added Gen 5, which next gen. Gen 5, I Wikipedia'd is actually thought as like the PS2 era, I think. Maybe not. But Gen 5, well, it's just next gen. All right. Everybody's gen are different depending on how back you go. Are you going to go to Lisa? Are you going to go to Atari? What's your starting point for consoles? Are you doing like the 1983 crash in gaming? Well, I can't remember that. What were the names of old stores? Arcades? Wow. I blanked on the word arcade for a while. I truly am bad at this. But anyways, change of direction animations to Locomotion, which will improve a defender's ability to transition from strafe to run quicker and smoother to help defenders get into position to play the ball quicker. Now, this is great, right? This is the one thing that I want to change the most, which is players allow change of direction, right? Players... Next Gen Madden was least fun because it didn't feel like you had control over your players. It felt like you were driving a Mack truck. It was super unrealistic movement-wise, right? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I like Next Gen because it's realistic movement. No, it's awful, right? Tyreek Hill, not changing direction and being like a truck is less realistic than current Gen, where they're changing quick and moving quick. Because these guys are athletes out here, okay? And not only are they both wildly unrealistic, it was less fun, too. So if you're going to go full-on realism, then you also need to make it realistic, but they didn't. They messed it up with change of direction. So, current gen is fun, right? Video games are fun when your avatar out on the field goes one-to-one with your control, right? That's exactly what we want. That's why, VR is playing. Avatar did so well at the box office. It's because when you control your avatar and they do exactly what you want them to, that's like the tippity top of like literally a good experience, right? Imagine playing a shooter and like you turn really quickly and it kind of like, or like you have your shooter and you're pointing at somebody's head and like the bullet just swerves. I mean, that's just not fun. Like, what our inputs on our stick needs to translate to the field. And next gen didn't have that. And I hope this increase in logic, change of direction, makes it more that way. Now, I know EA wants to slow down the game, make it more realistic speed so they aren't going to accelerate, go as fast as possible. But we need something. Tyreek Hill cannot be a Mack truck. He's not a Mack truck IRL. The fact that he takes forever to turn was embarrassing. I don't know why they'd go that so badly that direction. So that's the most important change, and I really hope they go hard on it. I really hope they overcorrect. Right? I don't think you can overcorrect that because that's so fun. So there you go. Now I don't want guys like the acceleration and the speed hasn't changed, which is fine. It's the change of direction, the agility that's changing. Hopefully that's better. Tuning to improve turn and run, better anticipate vertical speed threats. That's more of that deep zone logic that we were missing so much. Tuning to allow faster top end strafe speed for defenders in deep zone. Top end strafe speed. Now, do I need strafe speed? I want guys to turn and run, right? I want guys to be like NFL players, turn and run. Strafe speed, I hesitate because strafe speed has kind of like screwed us over in the past, both being too slow and like somebody being able to turn and run on a strafe or unrealistically, whereas like the worst thing in Madden, not the worst, but one of the worst things in Madden is if I have a receiver lined up and my defender, and the defender's right here, like they base align press, and the defender's facing this way, right? Okay, so the defender's facing this way, receiver's facing this way. The receiver takes off in his route, vertical, straight. This guy turns, runs, and is able to match him step for step, if not a foot ahead, foot or two. So like this guy can do a 180 and catch up and go faster than a guy literally on the line of scrimmage next to him. That's one of the worst things. Because like, oh, I got this easy touchdown, because there's no way he's going to do a 180 and be able to catch up to Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, who's faster than him. But nope, you got your bait into that throw because this game's awful. So that's too bad. Extended distance that a deep third can look inside when anticipating a deep crossing routes coming from the opposite side of the field. That's to help, like, crossing routes just getting deep thirds with no clear out. So having a clear out to get them open, not a bad thing. I kind of like that one. Fix an issue caused outside deep third receivers leverage the number one receiver. Too long, even when the receiver is no longer a deep threat. So like if you had like number one receivers here, number two receivers here, the crossing pattern came. The deep third would kind of drag it, and this guy would just run right past them. So, good idea, because the vertical threat is the most important threat, as everybody's known, and that's ever played football before. We've made significant tuning changes, zone coverage, significantly, specifically deep zones to better balance the deep passing game, and increase anticipation of deep zone defenders. One thing to be aware of is that these changes only apply to defenders in zone coverage and will not impact match zone players after they transition to man coverage on applicable match coverage plays. We will continue to monitor stats, feedback on both man and zone coverage towards future tuning updates, and thank you to the Madden community for feedback on zone coverage. So, match hasn't changed. I'm not sure how good match is on next gen, and I didn't really play match because match's been broken for a couple years on current gen. It's pretty easy to one-play beat them, but we'll see, of course. I'm excited about zone changes to next gen, but I guess we'll have to touch up and feel match coverage to give any sort of feedback on it. General gameplay fixes. Kickoff play clock exploit. Basically, people were able to sit on the kickoff. This is next gen only. If you choose kickoff return, people didn't have to choose a play, and then it was just basically a sit-off. People were going high-end, 25-0 in weekend league, just sitting on the kickoff screen for making people wait to win. So waiting people to quit because my time's not worth this. So I hope those people got a hard ban too, because that's just fucking annoying as hell. Maybe not like a week ban. Get them a week off the servers. Say, hey, don't do that. That's some real scumbag ass shit. All right, thanks. Fair catch exploit. Basically, I tweeted about this a while ago. If you fair caught it, let the punt or kickoff bounce, and then picked it up, you're untackleable. So they fixed that too. that's kind of cool. And then we went through the franchise updates yesterday. Yeah, we want to go over that again. You can take a look at yesterday's video for that one. Presentation updates. Wait, what was the presentation updates? Preventing play clock for sure. Oh, that's the kickoff glitch. The play clock not showing up on kickoff plays. Wait, what was this kickoff glitch? Yeah, it's the same glitch. Yeah. All right. Franchise presentation. Now here's the current gen. SpongeBob Yard. Post-launch franchise update. We went through it. No other gameplay changes, huh? 335 odd blitz didn't get touched, but it's not that bad. Just ID the cornerback on the left side. You can send 5 routes out, ID that guy, and it should be picked up. I played against a guy, check out my second channel, where he just started doing like the CB blitz off that side, and then it wouldn't work. So people already know the counter to the counter, and it's fucking annoying. So then you will have to block a tight end of that spot, right? He called this the cover 3 CB corner, flipped it, and then he put that CB into a zone, and then my counter to the counter didn't work. He countered my countered. I always play against guys who are literally on the tip top of the meta, and it's annoying, right? I never play against bad players in seasons anymore. Well, I might play actually a couple of seasons, but it's just annoying how many guys are just like using the top end shit and whatnot. But that's the game now, right? Knowledge gap is so big, and it's ranked seasons for a reason. You got a high elo, you're gonna play good players. But that is it for the video. I'm excited. I think whenever this launches for next gen, I'm getting out and I'm playing next gen. I think next gen deserves another chance, especially since they listened to our feedback on the biggest items. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Of course, like the video, please. That helps out the channel. You know, it's kind of cool to help. Otherwise, downvote if you hated the video. And you know what? It's good to get your feedback if you don't like the shit. But that's it. Thanks for watching Call to Action.